intellectual gathering and all the audience joined across through various social media. On behalf of Central Hindu Military Education Society's Boston College, I, Major Vikrant Kavle, ANO, welcome you all for the second lecture in the 4-day lecture series on the occasion of 140th birth anniversary of late Dharmavir Dr. Balkrishna Shivaram Munjeji. In the period of British rule, when Indian youths were not selected to be an officer in Indian Armed Forces, he established Central Hindu Military Education Society in the year 1935 and started preparing Indian youths for it. Initially, Boston Military School was established in the year 1937 and its natural extension, Boston Military College, in the year 1986. The students of this esteemed institute, who are called as Ramdandis, have served our motherland by joining armed forces as an officer to high ranks. Some are still serving and many more have taken admission in this institute with the same aim to join Indian Armed Forces as an officer. Defense and strategic studies is a principal subject of this institution. Besides officers in armed forces, the institute also works in developing think tanks in the field of defense and strategic studies. To commemorate the 140th birth anniversary of Dr. B.S. Munjeji, today we have with us Dr. Vijay Khare, Head, Department of Defense and Strategic Studies, Savitribai Phule Pune University, Pune, as an eminent speaker. This session is chaired by Dr. Dilip G. Belgankar, General Secretary, Central Hindu Military Education Society, Nasik. Also, we have with us Shri Hemant Ji Deshpande, Secretary, CHME Society, Nasik Division, Shri Nitin Ji Garge, Joint Secretary, CHME Society, Nasik Division, other all officers, office bearers of CHME Society, and Dr. U.I. Kulkarni, Principal, Boston Military College, Nasik. धर्मवीर डॉक्टर मुंजे मेमोरियल लेक्चर सीरीज का आज का यह द्वितीय पुष्प है, जिसमें डॉक्टर विजय खरे सर भारत रत्न डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब अम्बेडकर थॉट ऑन डिफेंस एंड प्रेजेंट सिचुएशन इस विषय पर अपनी बात रखेंगे। मैं अभी टेक्निकल टीम से विनती करता हूं कि वे इस संस्था के बारे में बनाई गई एक छोटी सी वीडियो प्रस्तुत करें।
फेसबुकला पण बघ तुझ्या लाईव्ह होतं, मला लिंक पाठव.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now, may I request Honorable Shri Nitin Ji Garge, sir, Secretary. May I request Honorable Shri Nitin Ji Garge, sir, Joint Secretary, CHME Society, Nasik Division, to please welcome today's guest speaker, chairperson, and all the audience present for this lecture.
नमस्कार, मी नितीन गर्गे, जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी CHME सोसायटी. डॉक्टर बाळकृष्ण शिवराम मुंजे यांच्या 148व्या जन्मदिनानिमित्ताने आयोजित व्याख्यानमालेच्या दुसऱ्या पुष्पात मी आपणा सर्वांचं स्वागत करतो. डॉक्टर मुंजेजींचे संरक्षण विषयक विचार हा एक मोठा अभ्यासाचा विषय आहे. त्यांनी इतक्या प्रकारचे इतक्या आयाम मांडलेले आहेत, त्याचा विचार करणं त्याच्याकरता एक मोठा अभ्यास करावा लागतो. आणि असे विचार संरक्षण विषय करणारे असे अनेक आपल्याकडे विचारवंत होऊन गेलेत. डॉक्टर बाबासाहेब आंबेडकर हे त्यांच्यापैकीच एक होय. डॉक्टर बाबासाहेबांचा विचार करणं हा एक मोठा अभ्यास विषय होऊ शकतो. डॉक्टर विजयजी खरे यांचा त्यावरती भरपूर मोठा अभ्यास आहे आणि त्यांचे आणि डॉक्टर मोदीजींचे विचार, त्याची मॅनेजमेंट हे एकमेकांशी कशी कोरिलेटेड होते आणि ते कसे एकमेकांना पूरक आहेत आणि आजच्या काळानुसार आजच्या परिस्थितीनुसार ते किती गरजेचे आहेत हे सगळं आपल्या समोर मांडणं हा एक मोठा अभ्यासा विषय आहे. डॉक्टर मुंजे यांच्या आपण जे व्याख्यानमाला घेतो त्याच्यामध्ये आपले सगळे विषय हे संरक्षण विषयकच असतात. वेगवेगळ्या आयामावरती वेगवेगळे वक्ते त्यांचे वेगळे विचार हे आपण सगळ्यांच्या समोर मांडतो. मूळ थीम आपली ही फक्त संरक्षण हा विषय असतो आणि त्या विषयाचे सगळे आयाम पुढे मांडले जाणं, त्याच्यावरती विचार मंथन व्हावं आणि त्यानंतर त्याच्यातून आपल्याकडनं काही ना काही त्याच्यातून आउटपुट बाहेर पडावं, आपल्याला समाजाकरता काही देता यावं ही त्याच्या मागची मूळ संकल्पना आहे. या संकल्पनेला धरून आपण देशातले वेगवेगळ्या प्रकारचे याच्यात काम करणारे, संस्थांमध्ये काम करणारे वेगवेगळे महनीय व्यक्ती आहेत, ज्यांचा या विषयावरती भरपूर अभ्यास आहे आणि जे आपल्याला इतर लोकांचे विचार आपल्यासमोर उलगडून मांडू शकतील आणि ते समजावून सांगू शकतील अशांना आपण कायम आमंत्रित करत असतो. त्यापैकीच एक आजचे डॉक्टर विजयजी खरे, मी त्यांचं मनापासून स्वागत करतो. तसेच आजच्या कार्यक्रमासाठी आपले अध्यक्ष आहेत डॉक्टर दिलीपजी बिलगावकर, संस्थेचे जनरल सेक्रेटरी, त्यांचं मी या व्याख्यानमालेकरता स्वागत करतो. आणि आपण सर्वजण जे श्रोते वर्ग आणि संस्थेत हितचिंतक जे उपस्थित आहात, आपल्या सर्वांचं मी मनापासून स्वागत करतो आणि पुढे कार्यक्रम सूत्रे संचालकांकडे देतो. धन्यवाद.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now I take this opportunity to introduce today's chief guest and speaker, Dr. Vijay Khare. Dr. Vijay Khare is a professor and head Department of Defense and Strategic Studies, Savitribai Phule Pune University, Pune. He was awarded partial fellowship by the United Nations University, Tokyo, Japan. He was selected for the United Nations short course on hologrammatic terrorism, United Nations Inter-Regional Crime and Justice Research Institute, University of Rome, Italy. He completed an executive leadership program and advanced meditation and peacemaking program at University of London, UK. He has received many fellowship awards at national as well as international level. He is also a director of International Center at SPPU since 2012. He has completed many projects at international level, visited so many countries. He has published 21 books in English and Marathi. He is a research guide and has a remarkable contribution as an institutional builder. May I tell you a special regarding Dr. Vijay Khare? He is a proud alumni of Boslam Reddy College, Nasik. Now, let me introduce the chairperson for today's lecture, Dr. Dilipji Belgaonkar, sir. Presently, he is General Secretary of Central Hindu Military Education Society, Nasik. He is a Vice Principal in Bidco College, Nasik Road. He has published many books. Some of them are for commerce syllabus. He is a recipient of Adarsh Shikshak Puraskar by Sarvajanik Vaishnalaya, Nasik. He is a PhD guide in Savitribai Phule Pune University. He is working on various committees of not only Savitribai Phule Pune University, but many different universities. He has all the leadership qualities required to lead the renowned institutes like CHME Society. He is associated with this since last 35 years and his motivation has led this institute to bring all the laurels. Now, may I request Shri Mayur Patil ji to please present a padya in this occasion.
जहाँ दिव्यता ही जीवन है, सागर का गांभीर्य जहाँ, जो कर्मों की फुलवारी है, नतमस्तक है विश्व वहाँ। नतमस्तक है विश्व वहाँ, जहाँ दिव्यता ही जीवन है। विपदाएं कितनी आई है, कितने ही आघात सहे। विपदाएं कितनी आई है, कितने ही आघात सहे। किंतु अचल जो खड़ा हुआ है, वंदन शत शत नरवर है। वंदन शत शत नरवर है। जहाँ दिव्यता ही जीवन है। जिसके मन में ध्येय देव का, निशिदिन चिंतन वंदन है। जिसके मन में ध्येय देव का, निशिदिन चिंतन वंदन है। देशभक्ति का प्रकाश हंसता, जग को पंथ दिखाता है। जग को पंथ दिखाता है। जहाँ दिव्यता ही जीवन है। जिसका स्मित चैतन्य पुरुष है, शब्द शब्द नवदीप प्रखर। जिसका स्मित चैतन्य पुरुष है, शब्द शब्द नवदीप प्रखर। जिसकी कृति से भविष्य उज्जवल, उसको जग का वंदन है। उसको जग का वंदन है। जहाँ दिव्यता ही जीवन है। सागर का गांभीर्य जहाँ, जो कर्मों की फुलवारी है। नतमस्तक है विश्व वहाँ, नतमस्तक है विश्व वहाँ। जहाँ दिव्यता ही जीवन है।
धन्यवाद मयूर जी। Now may I request Dr. Vijay Khare sir to please present his lecture.
Respected, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Respected Dilip Belgaonkar sir ji, Secretary CHME Society and today's chairperson of the event. Respected Dr. E.Y. Kulkarni, respected Nitin Gargeji, my dear friend Professor Kavle, all respected management committee members of the CHME Society, students, faculty, staff, those who are attending while sitting at home and different places. I recalling my days when I was the student of Busla Military College, and later on I became a teacher of Defense and Strategic Studies. And 12th December, that was the time we also involved for organizing this kind of events. And I knew that the kind of culture developed by CHME Society for young generation to attract Indian Armed Forces and serve the nation building process. So this institute or this society is playing important role in terms of in the field of defense and national security studies. This last week, I got a call from Belgaum concern, and he said that can you deliver lecture on Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar thoughts on national security? I was a little bit confused because uh, just we celebrated a 64th of death anniversary or Mahaparinirvan Divas of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. And from means last 20 plus years, I am working on how I can disseminate ideas and thoughts of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, not at national but international level. And I, when I was a student, when I did up my master and uh, tried to explore a new thing through research, I thought, let me start my journey with the person who gave a breath and bread to millions of Dalits, millions of Indians, and who played a very important role for nation building. Defense and strategic part or security part is one of that. But the person who played a very important role for not only nation building, but to maintain the unity and integrity of this country. And in that context, I conceptualize his thoughts in a different way. I did PhD on same issue, then published literature in the Hindi, English, and Marathi. And in 2006, I brought a center from University Grant Commission in the name of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Study Center. And 2006 to 2016, I did lot of, if I put a lot of efforts on that. And lastly, this is the only department in the Pune University or across the Maharashtra and India where I have started a full-fledged master program on MA in Ambedkar Thoughts in National Security, postgraduate diploma in Babasaheb Ambedkar Thoughts in National Security, and center converted full-fledged department, statutory department under the Faculty of Humanities. So this journey I started from Bhosla. Bhosla taught me everything. I'm here because of the Bhosla. I just most of the student they are not aware about the development of college. We were the second, Mr. Professor Kavle and myself. We are the second or third batch of the Bhosla Military College, and from beginning to till date, my association with the Bhosla. So today I'm going to talk on Babasaheb Ambedkar thoughts on national security. It is very difficult for me to conceptualize all his thoughts in a 40 or 40 plus minutes and in the context of national security. But I'll try to cover in a such a way that how Babasaheb Ambedkar played an important role in terms of national security. So what I'll deal with that, I'll applying two kind of methodology because this is the lectures going on social media, and I'm very carefully putting all my efforts to understand Babasaheb Ambedkar. There is no misambiguity or there's no ambiguity to understand his thoughts in contemporary period. So what I'm doing now, I'll putting using two kind of methodology. One is content analysis method and historical analytical method to understand the Babasaheb Ambedkar. And for that, Babasaheb Ambedkar thoughts are contemporary relevance in a present time in the context of India's national security. So how his thought is important to understand national security issues. It is very unfortunate. Most of the strategic experts, most of the social scientists, even the politician refer Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar as a Masihi of Dalits, and even in a curriculum, NCERT text or CBSE text or any kind of textbook, if you find up to 90s, that was one corner that he was Dalitanche Kaivari or the Masihi of Dalits. But 90s onwards, somehow people are talking about the chief architect of Indian Constitution. But even in that, people is talking about in different way, and most of the people, they are also putting him in a one corner, and that is particularly most of the people, they use the icon as a Dalit's icon or other. But in my point of view, you need to understand Babasaheb Ambedkar very thoroughly, link with the present scenario, and then you will realize most of the academician not going through his writing and speeches. Government of Maharashtra has published 22 volumes writing and speeches, and if you go through all volumes, the kind of knowledge production, yes, given to us in terms of social mobility, in terms of unity and integrity, in terms of national security, then you will realize that where we'll put Babasaheb Ambedkar in all fields. Look at the present issue, even in a farmer agitation, education, social mobility, reservation, you name it, you will find the Babasaheb Ambedkar has given a solution. And that solution is not only solution, that is a policy. And when you go through all the data, you will realize how the person means what kind of multifaceted role he played for nation building. But unfortunately, during his time and later on few decades, none of the academician has referred him as a strategic expert or security expert or policy makers. Even in a social sciences, very few universities introduce his thoughts in a curriculum. So that was not his, that was not means a fault of the society, but whatever you spend means whatever you think, you will realize later on in the period. Now, to understand the national security, first you need to understand what is the security. Basically, the paradigm of national security emerged in a specific historical setting with the emergence of nation state in the 17th century. So when you talked about the concept of security, each concept has a different connotation. Concept of national security, international security, and global security refers to different sets of issues and have their origins in different historical and philosophical contexts. If you ask to any Pakistan person or Pakistan origin how they define a national security, or if you ask to US citizen how they define a national security, and if you ask to Indian how they define a national security. Take example of US citizens says that any threat to their trade that they treat as a threat to national security. Or any Pakistan, they are, if you ask them that any threat to their religion, they refer that as a threat to national security. In Indian context, any threat to your constitutional values, we treat it as that is a threat to national security. So there's a core value of constitution is a threat to national security. So you have to understand the concept of national security. And when you talked about the which are the core values, that core values enshrined in your constitution led by Babasaheb Ambedkar, and he played a very important role. The kind of core values he laid down in a constitution through the different article, that is very important to understand. So with this context, you need to understand the concept of security. Concept of security is not only just to means just related to border management or related to defense expenditure or law and order. Concept of security is in a different way. But in a Cold War period, post-war period, and for present situation, this concept, its evolution took place in a different stages. Take example of during the Cold War period, concept of security related to weapons of mass destruction. Means any nation state possesses the weapons of mass destruction, they have a security guarantee. Whereas after the collapse of Soviet Union, that concept is no longer. And world also shifted from bipolar to multipolar world. And in a multipolar world, concept of security has been evolved in a different way. Take example of United States of America. The COVID-19 has taught to whole world humanities that how we define the concept of national security. Take example means having a weapons of mass destruction take example of United States of America or P5 state. They are possessing the weapons of mass destruction, but the one virus has changed the mindset of entire humanity. So now everyone is talking about the healthcare system. So this is a philosophical understanding of the concept of security. So don't treat concept of security is only related to border management or the threat from China or threat from the Pakistan. So that is this understanding of the security we need to understand. Now, let me just summarize the new balance of power, how the post-COVID-19 geopolitics and world order would be there. In my understanding, there will be a new balance of power where a country like United States of America and India, Japan, Australia, through Squad or through strategic alliances, there will be a one group of countries will play important role, and in a post-COVID-19 geopolitics would be very different. But let me clear one thing, that don't just go through the emotional while dealing with the security issues. Don't go to the emotional understanding. Look at the geopolitics and world order. In my understanding, next 10 years, there will be no challenge of US economy. There's a 20 plus trillion dollar economy, then followed by China, and then the European Union, and somehow we are touching about a $3 trillion economy. We are trying to touch with the $5 trillion economy. So where we will be after post-COVID-19, the geopolitics would be will be completely changed, and during that change, we need to understand what kind of challenges we will have it in due course of time. So this radical change circumstances call for a review of our definition of security. So I said earlier, earlier we had the mindset to understand national security. That mindset we need to change. And earlier in a Cold War mindset or post-Cold War or a multipolar world's security environment, we are not just defined the security related to border problem, what is happening with the China or what is happening with the Pakistan or neighboring countries. So that has to understand. And the post-Cold War paradigm threat agenda is now changing, and where today, I said earlier, healthcare system, economic security, environment security, or climate change would be a new player in a global security environment and to a national security issues. So this is just backdrop. I would like to give it to you. And when we national security discourse in terms of limited external security border management, but we need to understand today we are facing the problems. This is first will be cross-border terrorism, the China, Pakistan, then mismanagement of natural resources. These are the traditional issues we kept out in national security discourse. So that we need to understand. Now, keeping this in mind, let me conceptualize security issues with the link of Babasaheb Ambedkar, how he thoughts about national security, how he played important role. Let me share one thing. It would be very difficult to conceptualize his thought in a 40 minutes or when he played a very important role before independence and after independence. And before independence and after independence, he provided prudent policies, particularly related to defense and foreign policy, nation building, national integration, and security. Now, most of the Maharashtrian academicians, they restrict with the Babasaheb Ambedkar related to Pune Pact or the Constitution, but his role, particularly when he was the member of Executive Council member, and when he became a law minister, he played an very important role. But before that, Babasaheb Ambedkar inherited the military courage, both from his maternal and paternal source. And I said earlier, he is not only Dalit leader, but he is not only social worker, but he is the real economist and he was really a strategic thinker, and how he propagated the strategic thinking, I'll come later on that. Let me come to the first point. Just today, 13th of December, just few years back, we had attacked on uh, our temple of democracy, that is a Sansad. And now today we are some extent we are uh, celebrating the National Security Day. But considering that nature, Babasaheb Ambedkar suggested a second capital at Hyderabad in two reasons. Look at he stated two important issues. Why India need a second capital. Uh, Take example, in 13 years back, if our temple of democracy could be destroyed by the non-state actors, what could be a message for the global community and what could be a message for the Indian people? So security point of view, Babasaheb Ambedkar, that time he said that, and he gave a very important sources that from Buddha's period to British period, India always had two capitals for two reasons. One is the strategic point of view and one is the administrative point of view. And Babasaheb Ambedkar said that India needed second capital, and why he needed second capital? Look at the southern state. When any Hindi person goes to southern state and use the Hindi language, uh, very few people accept that language. Even the government of India now launching a new education policy, and new education policy is talking a three language formula. That three language formula, even 7 decades, most of the southern state is not accepting. They said we will not use a Hindi language as a second language, and that is a crisis, and we need to understand what are that crisis. So Babasaheb Ambedkar said that look at the India's map. Every 6 mile, our culture, our language, our thinking is changing. So we need to keep all diverse population and in a one unit. And for that, he's put a different articles in Indian Constitution. But before that, he suggested a second capital at Hyderabad, and that Hyderabad he suggested for two reasons. Now, earlier, before that, when into November 26, we had a Bombay attack. He used first, he located Mumbai should be a second capital, but that time he argued that Mumbai we did that time we did not had that naval capability that much good. So he said that there will be a threat from neighboring countries through ocean sides. So Mumbai would be not a good place where we can put a second capital, but he said second capital should be located at Hyderabad. And Hyderabad, why he said that Hyderabad located at central from southern side as well as the northern side, and from Mumbai to Hyderabad, what is the distance? Calcutta to Hyderabad, what is distance? Madras to Hyderabad, what is Patiala to? So he calculated in that, and for details you must go and refer the volume of first volume writing and speeches government of Maharashtra in 1979, and he gave it all statistical data. What is the important of second capital? Now, just 2 days back, Honorable Prime Minister laid down the foundation of the new Sansad Bhavan near to India Cut. But there will be a chance, there will be need for second capital for two reasons. And what Babasaheb Ambedkar said that you all aware that means even the when P. Chidambaram, he was a minister of finance and he presented a budget in a parliament. Most of the member of parliament commented on his dress. So that kind of culture we have. So language crisis as well as the cultural crisis, and considering that nature, Babasaheb Ambedkar argued that there is a historical, these are the issues. So he proposed Hyderabad should be a second capital. And let me tell you, in due course of time, this is my means futurist. I'm not talking about the future issue, but the strategic point of view. Probably we may set up a second capital, not exactly at Hyderabad, but other place in southern to integrate for two level. One is the administrative level and one is security point of view. And second argument of Babasaheb Ambedkar said, look at the Delhi. Delhi is a vulnerable place, and all from history says that all attacks come from the northern side, and that place is not strategically viable. So it is better to have a second capital. So that point of this issue is very important, and he suggests a second capital. Probably it would be used or it will be established by the government in due course of time. Now, what is his foreign policy and what is his idea about the military education? We all aware, we need to understand his writing and speech, not only writing and speeches. I have gone through the different archival documents and why he's important. He propagated the military education for two levels. First is that during Second World War, he said that anyhow Nazi Germans should not be win the war, and anyhow democracy should win. That was one. Second, while propagating compulsory military education, that time the enrollment of scheduled caste, scheduled tribe was very limited, and he said that if in the name of compulsory military education, the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, or minorities people, if they get education, that would be a good for the nation building process, and that would be good for the societal development. And he said that there is a need of a compulsory military education for two levels. One is the person who get a military training, he is a physical fit, as well as the administrative help will be important from that side. Then awareness of defense and security matters. Later on, the government of Maharashtra started the military education 10 years back, 10 to 15 years back. But awareness of defense and security matters, it doesn't mean that only just to focus on hyper nationalism or to counter any kind of issue. Need to understand the critical issues where we are really focused on nation building. Now, then compared to when we talked about Ambedkar foreign policy, his take on China, his take on Pakistan, his take on Seattle, his take on Korean War, his take on Goa issue, his take on Southeast Asian countries, you need to understand that. I'm very, most of the strategic expert, neither they refer Babasaheb Ambedkar literature nor refer there any kind of thing. And they, even they refer, they used very symbolically. And that is a misunderstanding of Babasaheb Ambedkar. Now, any policymakers or any government, at that point, if whatever decisions come from their side, that is the compulsion of that circumstances. I am not saying that, neither I'm claiming that all his thought is as it is applicable in a present time, because the 7 decades of time has been gone, and a lot of the changes is coming in the field of strategic and foreign policy. And Babasaheb Ambedkar also argued that any change, any point of time, any person make his changes in his stand, that is the character of the wise man. If you are not changing your mindset and policy, then it is he used the word of donkey as nature. So he argued continuously, and he said when he was a member of parliament in upper house in Rajya Sabha in 1954, and same time we had a Panchashila agreement with the China Communist Party of China, or you can call it China. That time he argued, and he argued heavily with the then Prime Minister and the and other policymakers, that look at the our strategic culture and look at our foreign policy limitation. He said, Babasaheb Ambedkar said that India is propagating an idea of democracy, and any democratic country come forward to establish a relation, you first give a priority to the democratic country and democratic values. And he was argued with the Nehru that Hindi Chini Bhai Bhai, or the Panchashila agreement, although he gave a slogan in 1935 about the conversion, and he was in mindset to convert in a Buddhism, and that was his from 1935 to 1956. He prepared himself to convert in a Buddhism, and he argued that in fact, then Prime Minister used the foreign policy based on a Panchashil as well as the emotional language of foreign policy. And Babasaheb Ambedkar said that before communist China, from 2000 years, India and China share the same Buddhist value and culture, but the communist revolution changed the mindset of China. And he said that when you are going to sign an agreement with China, what is important, he focused on geographical location. Geographical location is very important. And now what has happened in a Galwan, what has happened in Doklam, and what's happening with the China in present situation because geographical condition. I'll not deal with in details because I have to cover other points, but you need to understand what he said that. And he heavily criticized Nehru's foreign policy that time. And also he talks about what should we do. And he said that he propagated that come close with the democratic country, and democratic value can propagate the idea of international peace and stability. And he also argued with the India's lack of strategic culture, adhocism. He used the exact word in a foreign policy. He said that it is adhocism, means whatever during that time and consequently whatever is present time also, each and everything becomes adhocism. If you ask me what is the India's strategic culture or strategic value, or what is the core value of India's foreign policy, it would be very difficult for me to define any kind of core values or the fixed core values in the framing the foreign policy. We are changing our stance, and sometimes it is good, but sometimes at the same time it would be very difficult if you start the adhocism policy. And that adhocism Babasaheb Ambedkar criticized in 1954, and now today in 2020 we are talking about the same issues related to adhocism. Look at our neighboring countries, look at the present policies. Now what will happen, that is a issue. And that's why he gave argument against Hindi Chini Bhai Bhai, whereas that is an emotion. And when we gave a political asylum to Dalai Lama, and then 1962 war, we defeated China with China like a house of cards, and more than the thousands of kilometer land Chinese is occupying. And even today, China is also claiming that the whole Arunachal Pradesh and the other part of Galwan Valley, they are claiming their territory. So when nation building process started, the policy makers and how nation building process started. If wise man, including the educated wise men gave us the policy issues, that is really reflected on policy matter. But let me share one thing, that look at the global map and look at the Indian map. India is the only country around the globe which surrounded two nuclear power. One is the China and one is the Pakistan. And in both countries, he played a very important role. And means about China, he argued, and he not only argued critically, but when he resigned as a Ministry of Law, people is talking about that Babasaheb Ambedkar resigned only in the name of a Hindu code bill. Look at his resignation later. He gave it, when he gave resignation, he gave three important issues, reasons. One is that Hindu code bill is very important, but apart from Hindu code bill, he talked about the Kashmir, he talked about the OBC reservation, because other backward class should be in a mainstream. For that, he proposed there should be reservation mechanism for them. And third important is the Kashmir. He said that as long as Kashmir issue is not resolved, none of Indian can get a proper sleep. And we all aware that. In the name of Kashmir, we had a first 4 war with Pakistan, that is the 47, 48, 65 war, 71 war, 99 Kargil, and we don't know what will happen in future also. So that is one. And with China also in 1954, he argued, and the ultimately result came out in 1962. And even in 2020, we are fighting with them. So this is the main concern about Babasaheb. And beauty of Babasaheb Ambedkar thoughts is that look at the Babasaheb Ambedkar. Why we are calling him as a Mahamanav, or why he is a Mahamanav. The partition occurred in 1947, but he wrote a book in 1940 on Pakistan or partition of India. 54 he won against China, and war took place in 62, and even 20 we had a Galwan crisis with China. And reorganization of state, first reorganization commission state was established by the government of India in 1956, and state was established in the name of one language, one state. Whereas Babasaheb Ambedkar said that one language, many states should be there, so there will be no crisis between the one language monopoly. What is happening now? We are Indians, by name only Indians, but that is, we are not real Indians. Anything happened, we show our first, we are the regional identity, maintaining regional identity, then second our district identity, then taluka identity, and our village identity. So this is a regional identity crisis. So reorganization of state, they used a formula that one language, one state, and Babasaheb Ambedkar argued that one language, one state would not be feasible for maintaining India's unity and integrity or national security. And what he said? Look at the reorganization state commission was set up in 1956, but Babasaheb Ambedkar argued in 1948. He wrote an article in 1948. Then he also come out with 1954 different argument, and then 1955 he argued about the linguistic states in India. Now people is forgetting that when Babasaheb Ambedkar is not only chief architect of India, he gave a map to Simon Commission. Look at the kind of representation on behalf of the Bahishkrit Bharat Sabha. He gave a representation to the Simon Commission, the entire map of the constitution, and constitution for what kind of provision should have it in a constitution. Then he played very important reservation policy. In fact, after 1932 Pune Pact, he started reservation in Pune Pact. Scheduled caste, scheduled tribe people got a political reservation, but reservation in education he started in 1942 when he was the minister and the member of the War Viceroy Council. Then also he started, he revived the Mahar Battalion. Now Mahar Battalion at that time, earlier we all aware that Mahar played a very important role, and the Mahar Battalion he revived in 1942 onward when he became a Viceroy member. And in a partition in India, or partition of India, he gave a map of political map of what could be if you need a partition, what should government of what should both religions should do it, or if what should government should do it, or British or United Kingdom should do it. So in that Pakistan or partition of India, he said that main issue is it's not only the piece of land. There is a need to understand the Pakistan concept and Indian concept. Basically, it's not the issue of the piece of land, but it is the issue of the majority versus minority. And that majority and minority issue, if you resolve, then both nation state can play important role, and we can play important role. And that was his thinking in 1940s. And he published a book on that. You must read it. Particularly, none of university using that text as a textbook in understanding the defense of security, or neither the textbooks included in a social sciences. So what is important here? Whatever is happening, he 1 decade before he point a figure on that, and that is very important. And that's why Babasaheb Ambedkar's role, particularly in strategic thinking, is very important. Then present nationalism. Now this is a very kind of critical time to define who is real nationalist. Means if I'm standing at the cinema hall, and if I'm giving a standing ovation and national Jan Gan Mana and national anthem, as I'm a real nationalist. So that is the question of nationalism. Basically, nationalism, what Babasaheb Ambedkar said that, and that is very important. Nationalism must be, is a fundamentally strong feeling of social unity. Are we really social united? Means when we are discussing to each other, most of our own people are not recognizing their stature. Every year, more than 3,000 the what you call that the people who are cleaning the toilet and the uh, others, they are dying at the sepages. But are we really focusing on that? No. Then Babasaheb Ambedkar also said there is a the strong feeling should be social unity, and nationalism in relation to internationalism should be founded on human brotherhood. And human brotherhood, he defined that what we need to vertical and horizontal integration of the society through the casteless and uh, caste casteless society and classless society. But nowadays, look at the present situation. Very few people are just getting a share in terms of financial gain. I'll give a statistical data. We said that when you look at the government of Maharashtra, Maharashtra shares total GDP of the country from Turkey to Thailand. If you see the all state, whatever they have a GDP, more than that Maharashtra is earning. Maharashtra is playing important role for social mobilization, but even that, most of the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBCs, minorities, they are the victim in terms of their socialization. And look at the national level enrollment. When we talked about the gross enrollment ratio, presently our gross enrollment ratio is around 25%. And even in among that 25%, the enrollment in scientific field from the scheduled tribe and social OBCs and others is very less in the field of scientific. So what Babasaheb said, that we need a nationalism on the basis of social unity and human brotherhood, where at least some extent you can have feeling that we are really a nationalism. But that is not happening, and that's why there is a need to understanding about the Babasaheb Ambedkar thoughts related to this. Then policy for the nation building, I'll just focus on the briefly. I'll focus on what kind of policy he talks about the nation building. I said earlier he was the Viceroy Executive Council and in charge of labor, irrigation, power portfolio, and Hirakud and other major dams. He himself played a very important role to construct the dams. And in fact, the linking the rivers, that was his mega project, and he played a very important role during that time. And he was an economist. You all aware that the Reserve Bank of India was established on his argument that was in his thesis, and he talks about the exchange rate and the problem of rupee, and later on Reserve Bank of India was established in 1935. Then he also expressed the thought of nationalization of industry, state socialism, social equality, and agriculture. Look at the present agriculture, but farmer issues, or the social equality or socialism. Now the concept of socialism is going to change. Now the state has a very minimal role in terms of social, but Babasaheb Ambedkar argued in the Indian Constitution through the state's directive principles. He said the directive principle is not only the principle, state should intervene in all matters, including the major issues. And look at the Indian Constitution, there are three important lists, that is a concurrent list where state and center can make it a law, then the center list and state list, where state has a limited power, where center has a major power. So he has insisted in that. And when he said that the directive principle may not work as a fundamental rights, but the directive principle should be implemented by the state mechanism. And he talks about give it the subsidies to the agriculture, make it agriculture should be he proposed that agriculture should be a part of employment. And he said that nationalization of agriculture, nationalization of land and industry is very important. But unfortunately, that was not focused when we talked about that. And now when issues coming up, now look at from last 15, 17 days, although we may call it as a political, but you need to understand, you have to focus on that issue, because we have, being as a nation building process, in the process of nation building, we need to understand this issue. And agriculture problem, or socialist or the social equality, most of the issues, and how long we can blame to others. Now British has gone, 7 decades is now is going to finish. Next generation among the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, they are asking that their rights, and they are asking the rights through the constitutional provision. And beauty of Indian Constitution is that whatever we are playing important role, and this is my argument and this is my understanding, that today, look at the global scenario, or look at the nation state who got independence after the Second World War. Look at our neighboring state, look at the across the globe, those got independence after Second World War, including India. India is playing very important role, and that why we are united from Kashmir to Andaman Nicobar, or Kashmir to Andaman Nicobar land. Now, when we have gone through the constitutional provision, what is important, this is silence resolution, and silence resolution through the constitutional provision. Means I know that I'm the first person in my family who got a chance to enroll in a BMC, and then become a teacher, and now presently. So this is silence revolution. I don't need any weapon with me to revolution against the state. So this is happening because of the constitutional provision, and that is the silence revolution is going on. And that's why today India is emerging as an economic power, as a military power, and that constitutional provision is very important. We need to understand. Let me share a few important things. When we talked about the constitutional provision, I will not deal with the all constitutional provision, but one important aspect is very important. Now, when you talked about unity and integrity, most of the people are arguing that India is united because our culture, our values is very important, and they're playing important role. That is one part. But the constitutionally and as a unitary, why is as a unit of unity, why we're united? There are three important articles are very important, and we need to understand that one. The Article 352, Article 356, and Article 360 in Indian Constitution. These are the very important articles from understanding the unity and integrity of the country, where even today, whatever I'm saying, that 20+% is population staying below the poverty line, still we are united. Enrollment ratio in higher education is less, still we are focusing on as a one unit. Why this is happening? And this is happening because in my understanding, particularly I'm linking with the Babasaheb Ambedkar, that why this is happening. There are three important emergency articles, very important in Indian Constitution. Article 352, Article 360, and Article 356. You can argue it in a different way, but my understanding is that we need to understand in a very different way. First, you have to understand what are these three articles. Any kind of external attack on Indian territory, President can declare as national emergency by using Article 352. That is a 352, particularly external attack on Indian territory. That time, President can declare a national emergency. Any financial crisis occurred at national level, so suppose tomorrow minus 15% GDP or any financial crisis occurred, that time President can use Article 360 and declare a national financial emergency. But in my understanding, Article 356 is very important, and that is the only reason India is united from last 7 decades, and it will be united in another 1 decade, 1 century or plus. Because why today Kashmir is with us? Because of the Article 350. Look at the 80s. That time Khalistan, demand of Khalistan was very prime demand for them. But Punjab is with us because of Article 350. Look at the entire Northeast, including Nagaland, Manipur, Bodoland issue. We have managed by our conflict mechanism, conflict resolution management to the constitutional provision. Look at the southern state, they are also united with us because of the Article 356. What is Article 356? We need to understand. Article 356 very important in that context to understand Babasaheb Ambedkar, why he is very visionary and why is very important for us. He said that look at India's population. I earlier said that every 6 miles our culture is language is changing, and to maintain such a diverse population, uh, we need a central government should be powerful. And he said that in our house, most of the our tradition is that most of our forefathers, they kept a few things in a house we don't use most of the time, that you may use it in emergency time. He said that these are the 3 important emergency article, and he said, and he argued, and I quote, he said that Article 356 is a dead letter in Indian Constitution, and this is the only article which will protect India's unity and integrity. And he said, whenever this article used by His Excellency, he or she may use her consciousness, and political intervention or political party or central government should not force on them. Let me give a clarity on this. What is Article 356? Article 356 is any group of people who wanted separation from Indian territory in the name of culture, in the name of caste or religion, or any secessionist movement start, that time to control that state, governor can use, or political instability in a state, that time governor can use Article 356 and declare a state emergency for period of the 6 months. And governor, if governor want to continue this emergency another 6 months, then it goes to the parliament, and the parliament again gave a nod on that, and then it would continue. But some extent the political parties are misusing Article 356. That is one clear. But Babasaheb Ambedkar also warned that time that how this article is very important. He said that whenever His Excellency or Her Excellency use Article 356, he or she has to use her consciousness. So it means this is an emergency article. And let me clear one thing, that today we are claiming that we are emerging as economic power or global power because of this article, because this article does not allow any group of people, any kind of people, any group of movement, any you name it. Look at the Pakistan, although it came or established in the name of religion, but it was divided in 71. Look at the Myanmar or Burma, earlier Burma, now Myanmar. They failed to give a message as a Buddhist state in the name of Rohingya crisis. Look at the Sri Lanka, they failed the dealing with the LTT crisis. Look at the Nepal, so-called it is a Hindu Rashtra, but also failed to show the message, give the message to global community, because of not proper implemented a proper policies, and later on it become a secular state. So what I'm saying here, India is a different case. This is in my understanding, and Babasaheb Ambedkar said very importantly, and I dare quote that, he said that this is a dead letter in Indian Constitution, but this dead letter will be protect India's unity and integrity. And that's why, that's the one reason today we are united from Kashmir to Andaman Nicobar, and that is very important, and that is the reason we are today as a unit, as a one. But socially we are different. Babasaheb Ambedkar, when he gave a constitution on 25th November 1949 to the Constitutional Assembly, and he gave that today we are becoming a political, and we are entering in a different age where one vote, one value, one citizen would be introduced, but there is no social and economic equality. So he said that, look, as long as we become a social and economic equal, then we could play important role as a nation building, and we can play important role as a nation building. And he warned that time there is a need as early as possible. The policy makers should think about that, and he focuses on the state policy. Then one important point, let me highlight on this issue. I just gone through the literature where now people is talking about the princely state, unification of the state. And I said earlier, princely state and unification of state, we are referring the lot of literature, but none of the strategic expert or none of the academics also refer what Babasaheb Ambedkar argued in roundtable conference. We all aware that he argued with the Butler Commission. That time Butler Commission came, and he said that that was when he was participating roundtable conference 1930s, and he said that because the paramount is that the princely state want to the British government that without our consent, you should not declare the independence. And Babasaheb argued heavily with among the people in the roundtable conference. He said that what princely state claims themselves that they are the kings, and without their consent, this country is not united. And he argued with the Butler Commission, and he said, and he statistically argued that there are 562 princely states. Out of that, 452 are not have that kind of equal financial capability, and out of 562, 342 are having a less than 1 lakh earning of the princely state, and this 1 lakh less earning, and they are claiming themselves as the princely state. So Ambedkar said that don't allow such kind of princely state to their say when you are going to give an independence. So that was his understanding in 1930. And now today, when you talk any unification of India, we hardly refer his argument by the academic. That is this is an important aspect I need to understand what Babasaheb Ambedkar played important role. Then today, each Indian woman must respect Babasaheb Ambedkar. Most of the women now today talks about the his contribution, but what he did. Look at that time, 1950s. Hardly any Dalits had a property during that time. Nowadays, somehow they are getting that. But he was talking about the entire, not only Dalit women. He said that what kind of rights the Indian women should have it, and he prepared the Hindu Code Bill. But the political parties across the different political parties, he opposed Babasaheb Ambedkar, and lastly he resigned. But later on, same what he prepared a draft. That draft is implemented in two different acts. That is a Succession Act 1956 and Maintenance Act and Guardian Act. Today, whatever you are getting, particularly women's, they are getting a maternity leave, then fixed hours. Look at the globe, means so-called UK or US, they are glorifying their democracy. But women's got a very late, the women's got a rights for voting is very late. Whereas in a one stroke, what Babasaheb Ambedkar did, even today, if you go to any European countries, the salary wages, I have interacted with the different universities in Europe, and I was in different places. I interacted with this professors, teacher. I was shocked. Even today in the Czech Republic or other places, the salary of the women's and male and female is different. Whereas in India, in a one stroke, Babasaheb made it clear there should be no discrimination in terms of the salary. Even today, and what Babasaheb Ambedkar did it, voting rights to the value of one vote, either whether it is Adani or Ambani or Tata or Birla, anyone, his voting rights, or the person who is staying in a slum area, his right is equal. And that's why this country is going and taking a silence revolution through the one vote, one value. You've never thought that the person like Mayawati become a chief minister of the biggest state, means Uttar Pradesh would be if it become a separate state, that would be the fourth largest country in the world. That is the population of Uttar Pradesh. So fifth largest of the world. So, but she became a chief minister through the one vote, one value, and that is inculcated by the Babasaheb Ambedkar, and that is very important, and that we need to understand. Now, I said that apart from that, why we are united, we have a single judicial system, single citizenship, single administrative system, and single administrative system, single judicial system. That is very important. And the division and size of state, he talked about, I'll give it the statistical data, how he proposed and what government of India did it on that. And he predicted that when what you call the reorganization state was established, they simply used the formula one language, one state, and northern state, they become a big state, and the southern state become a they balkanize, or you can say that it become a smaller state. And you know all that up to 80s, anyone control the fourth state, particularly now we are calling the Bimaru state, Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh. Now thing is changing now, but the Bimaru state who control, they control the central power. So Babasaheb Ambedkar said, what you are doing, what law, what kind of a state we needed? He said that one language, one state instead of one state, one language. So take example of today, after some point of time, there is a demand from Maharashtra in Vidarbha side, then the other part of, they are demanding in the name of language. But Babasaheb Ambedkar said that that time when we got independence, our population is around 35 to 60 crore population. And he said that 2 crore population in a east state. So what was his idea is that today, look at the dominant caste in each state. In a Maharashtra, Maratha is dominant. If you go to the southern state, the Reddy is dominating. If you go to north side, Jat is dominating. If you go to Bengal, so Babasaheb Ambedkar argued that if the dominant caste take rights in their hand, then it would be very difficult to marginal society to get a rights in their hand. So that's what he said, that there is a need to understand the Indian population. He said that division of state and size and state, he argued, he gave a map, and you must see that map. I'll come to, but what is important here, the single judicial system, single administrative system is very important for, and that is a important role is played by the system. Now look at the division of Uttar Pradesh. This was he proposed division of Uttar Pradesh in 3 parts, but in earlier India government, during the Vajpayee government, Bihar split and Jharkhand would be a different. So he look at the how he proposed and what has happened. So now this is Uttar Pradesh, where Uttar Pradesh also divided in a 3. And now there is a demand is coming up. The Harit Pradesh should be a different. So from Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, where is that? Is split. This with the western Uttar Pradesh and central Uttar Pradesh he proposed, and that was happened in earlier India government. Then a division of Bihar, Hazaribagh, Ranchi, same thing has happened. What proposed by Babasaheb Ambedkar, that was happened in 2098, 99. That has happened. Now Jharkhand is a separate state. This is and this has he proposed before us in 1952, 1955, and it has happened in 90s. So this is the visionary leader. He linked with all issues related to national security. So he's not just saying that only the external environment, security environment, but he proposed in that, and that is happening. Then look at the division of Madhya Pradesh. Also, you can Jharkhand is other part. He also southern, and then division of Maharashtra. He also talked about the 4th state, but he changed his when the political leader met him and met with him, and he said that okay, that one that would be possible, but he argued for the marginal section should be in the mainstream through the a small state, and division of caste would be one. That's why he proposed in that. And lastly, what I said, when it has happened, he talked in a very different way. I just because we all are academician, and we need to understand what kind of new education policies coming up, and what are challenges before us, and how Babasaheb Ambedkar is important. Very few are understanding his role in higher education. He was the member of Legislative Council 27, renominated in 1932, and then he had a different role in different places in Kalaram Mandir, then Mahar Satyagraha. I will skip in that, but what he said that now today government of India is talking about the 6% of GDP on higher education. And I'm giving this example. He gave a speech on 12th March 1927 in Bombay Legislative Assembly. What he said that he come with the statistical data, and he said that that time what happened in Montego Chelmsford Act in 1919 changed the mindset of Indian education system. What Montego Chelmsford Act has given right, all local bodies, they can control the higher education. Babasaheb Ambedkar argued in that decision that Montego Chelmsford Act changed the life of a scheduled caste, because the local body, those control the local bodies, they are not that much educated, and they are the people, they are victimized the education of scheduled caste because they are monitoring the each and every bodies. So he argued continuously, and he come up with the statistical data, and he said that in expenditure on education from 1921 to 1926 included only 39 lakhs, and the per person expenditure on education was only 14 annas, where revenue was rupees 2 lakh 17 paise. So he said that look at that, if you are just earning that much amount and you're spending only 40 anna on education, then how you can come up with the good society? And he argued in the assembly that there is a need to oppose of the commercial higher education and spend more money on primary and higher education. And I'm very sorry to say that all consecutive government now is not focusing on higher education. You may construct good buildings, you may create a good infrastructure, but if you don't have a good intellectual minds, that infrastructure, that buildings, that grounds will not work, and that cannot convert your Vishwaguru intellectual hub. What you need a good folk, because your education is very important. Without education, how could nation can emerge? And if you are implementing commercialized education, then it would be very difficult. And then he gave a statistical data, how advanced Hindus, intermediate Hindus, and backward class Mohammedan, what is their population and what is their say in higher education. But what he said that, and which is very important to context the present education policy. Now he gave one example. That time Sydenham College has a 6 economic teacher, Wilson College 2 economics teacher, and Elphinstone College 2 economics teacher, and St. James College 2. So he said that kindly cluster them and start cluster lecturing things that will be benefit to the college student. Nowadays, what is happening, those who are in a university department, they have their own different mindset. Our present education system not allowing to universities teacher to connect with the graduate who teach graduate teacher or postgraduate classes at the rural places. We are creating a different hub. And Babasaheb Ambedkar argued that university is not promoting research, only conducting and declaring the result. Let me share one thing with the Savitribai Phule Pune University. It is very easy for you to everyone to nothing is happening, or the something has happened in an examination or news in the newspaper. But you need to understand that there are 750,000 students are enrolled in 3 districts and more than 1,000 colleges. And if you go to any European universities, in European university, you will find that for one university, you will not get more than 3,500 students in one university. And here in an Indian education system, what we are doing now, we are increasing the college affiliated colleges and the university, increasing the universities also, private university, but we are not linking with the graduate and postgraduate. And Babasaheb Ambedkar said that there is a need to undergraduate college and postgraduate university in there, and you will find they're also in the rivalry. Means anyone who comes in the university campus, college teacher and postgraduate teacher also have right. Babasaheb rightly pointed that there's a relation between college professor and university professor is not good. So what he said that colleges are inadequately staffed, and I am quoting this statement on 27 July 1927, and he said that the college even today it is very difficult for government to fulfill the all posted. And he said the concept of constitute college was nothing but it was Babasaheb Ambedkar. He said that the examination, system of examination, he defined what kind of examination we need. So you cannot just conducting examination and giving a rank is not a good thing. What he said that you need to understand the poverty-stricken parents, the farmer, they're sending the kids in schools or colleges. You need to understand their situation and don't just go through the marks. He criticized on examination system and he said that if in a family there are 4 students, out of that 3 are working at home, parents are only sending 1 in a colleges because he earned money to survive this. So he said that to the person who comes from the rural places, how he can match with the student who is in an urban place. So he talks about that, and he also argued on provincial autonomy. How that time today we are talking about autonomous colleges and autonomy, but the autonomy should not be only just for the commercial purpose. What he said that there should be a realization of education of rights and the liabilities of the citizen. This concept, the now today everyone talk about the citizenship concept. You need to understand the citizen. It is very easy to become an Indian myself as an Indian citizen, but the concept of understanding of citizenship is very important. And he talked about the liability of citizenship and every access may be given to community. Now, I'll not go through the other details, but what I'm saying here, unfortunately, when we talked about national security, when we talked about internal security, when we talked about Babasaheb Ambedkar, our understanding with related to Babasaheb is very limited. We are not focusing that much what Babasaheb Ambedkar has given, and it is very unfortunate. Most of the, even in Dalit academy also, just putting Babasaheb Ambedkar is one icon that also we need to change. I hope our new generation can change this kind of policy, this kind of understanding of Babasaheb Ambedkar, but at the same time, being as an Indian, being as a citizen of this country, we must inculcate the culture where each one should get rights to the constitution spirit. I hope that this is my take on Babasaheb Ambedkar, where I wanted to share with you. I hope I have took too much time, but most of the my respected teachers before them, I talking you, sir. I'm thankful for organizing, giving opportunity, any kind of question, any kind of argument, you can argue with me. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Vijay Khare. Your knowledge and hold of the topic definitely reflected from your lecture. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, may I request today's chairperson, Dr. Belgaonkar, sir, to please present the concluding remark. Dr. Belgaonkar, sir, please.
Yes, good evening, one and all. Dr. Vijay Khare, really all of us enlightened by your lecture, that you have expressed very well. You have given a very good thoughts about the Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar of national security, and I think so you have explained the total discourse of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's national security thought and its different dimensions. I came to know that it is really very studied thought that which you have expressed in front of us, and we all know that Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar having a social foresight, political foresight, economics foresight. Oh, it's a we can say that a greatest personality of India. Dr. Babasaheb is the greatest personality of India, and he is a very great son of India, that whose patriotism is reflected into roots of constitution, and that roots of constitution is giving the all types of security to each and every individual citizen of the India. That is the most important thing that you have explained. And really, your knowledge and your study is reflected into your thoughts, and that is our purpose of Bhosla. Is that what you are saying, that the students, the citizens, the intellectuals are not properly studying Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar? So this was our idea, that to bring in front of all these intellectuals, Dr. Vijay Khare, to know exact thinking of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. That because there is no area, there is no, we can say that the discipline on which the Babasaheb Ambedkar has not studied and not expressed his views. And his views are very practical, because he's a great person having a foresight about the nation, about the society. And what thought he has given, that national security, don't think of the only threats from the outside. You have to think the threats from inside also. And when the nation is integrated, I think the great pains and great efforts he has taken for the sovereignty of nation, sovereignty of India, and integratedness of India, that you have explained very well. I'm
Thank you, sir.
I'm really thankful to you that we have listened so many new things from you, and really great deliberations that you have given. Thank you. Thanks all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, may I request my colleague Sneha Kulkarni, Assistant Professor, Department of Defense and Strategic Studies, Bhosla Military College, to propose a vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. A warm and cherished evening to our most valued Honorable Chief Guest, respected Chairperson, Honorable members of Central Hindu Military Education Society, teachers, Ravnadi students, and everyone. It is my privilege to propose a vote of thanks and acknowledge the contribution of those who worked hard to make this second day of Dr. Munje Memorial Lecture Series really successful. On behalf of Bhosla Military College and the entire Central Hindu Military Education Society fraternity here, I am very hearty gratitude to our Honorable Chairperson, Dr. Dilip Belgaonkar, the General Secretary of CHME Society Nasik Division, for sharing his graceful words with us in today's session. Thank you, sir. Thank you for chairing the session and gracing your important work and sharing with us your findings and opinions today. Thank you.
Thank you.
On behalf of CHME Society's Bhosla Military College, I give a really heartfelt vote of thanks to our Honorable Chief Guest, Dr. Vijay Khare, Professor and Head of the Department of Defense and Strategic Studies of Savitribai Phule Pune University, who spent his busiest time gracing the occasion. Today we had the opportunity to hear your thoughts on Bharat Ratna Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's thoughts and defense and present situation. And this is definitely encouraging us in our future events. Your thoughts have enlightened our minds and shown us a new path. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for all the Honorable CHME Society officials, President of CHME Society, retired Lieutenant General Dr. D.B. Shekatka, Working President of CHME Society, Shri Pramod Ji Kulkarni, General Secretary of CHME Society, Dr. Dilip Ji Belgaonkar, President of CHME Society Nasik Division, retired Captain S.G. Naravne, Secretary of CHME Society Nasik Division, Shri Hemant Deshpande, and Joint Secretary of CHME Society Nasik Division, Shri Nitinji Garge. I wish to express my gratitude to all of the dignitaries of CHME Society for providing encouragement for this special occasion and memorial event. I would like to take this opportunity to place on record our hearty thanks to the Honorable Principal of Bhosla Military College, Dr. U.I. Kulkarni sir, for the perfect logistics support and guidance he has extended to all of us at Dr. Munje Memorial Lecture Series. Thank you so much, sir. I also thank the Department of Defense and Strategic Studies for your role in organizing this memorial lecture, Department of Journalism and Mass Communication for your role in promotional activities, though various mediums, and Department of Computer Science for technical support. I extend my special thanks to our media partner News Bharati for streaming this live across various social media platforms and providing us all with an uninterrupted service. I'm very thankful to Master Major Vikrant Kavre sir for your efforts towards today's anchoring, the elegance of your own thoughts and interpretation of everything. I need to mention my deep sense of appreciation. Thank you so much, sir. I also thank everyone who contributed independently for better communication and coordination. And with that, I thank our viewers who joined us virtually to pay tribute to our founder, Dharmavir Dr. Balakrishna Shivaram Munje. We look forward to welcome you again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you all. Jai Hind.
Tomorrow we will have
Thank you.
Tomorrow we will have a lecture on the topic geostrategy and India's border management in the 21st century by Major General Shishir Mahajan, Sena Medal, Vishishta Seva Medal, retired. So let us meet tomorrow again at 7 p.m. Thank you very much and Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you.